Hey guys, today's video is going to be about this Brinyte HC01 headlamp. But before we get into it, I just wanted to show you just a small sampling of my headlamps. I probably have somewhere between 30 and 35 headlamps. I keep them in the cars, I keep them in toolboxes, camping totes, just workbenches. I just have headlamps just kind of all over. Some of them have red lights with them. Some of them take like 18650s. Some of them are rechargeable. Some of them can use 14500s and double A's. I still have a whole bunch of like brand new ones still in the packages too. I give these as a lot of gifts to people. So the last thing I needed was another headlamp, but the HC01 has a couple features that I thought were pretty interesting, and I thought you guys might like them as well. So let's take a look at it. So Brinyte does have pretty nice packaging all the way around. It doesn't give you a whole lot of information on the box, but you can scan that QR code if you want to find out more. All right, we'll get this little seal lifted up here, and we'll do a real quick unboxing just to kind of show you guys how it comes. And so it looks like it comes locked, and it's telling us that we have to hit these two things together to unlock the headlamp. They do that for safety issues so it doesn't come on during shipping or anything. Get that out. Let's see what else is in here. So it looks like we have a charging cable, and that is type C, so USB A to C. We have a manual. So there is our manual. Looks like another QR code you can scan. And looks like a catalog of some kind. It probably shows other products that they have. I'm going to kind of quickly show you the manual. You can pause on any screen that you'd like to kind of get more detailed information. I will be going over most of the things in it, but I probably will leave some things out. This is interesting. All right, before we start going over the features and specifications, let me give you guys some up close pictures here of this. So there's actually 3 LEDs here. That one there is a luminous LED. I'm not exactly sure if the other 2 are or not. And then as you can see, the headband looks unique. It's already kind of like wound up. Typically this is what you get, is they're just loose. And so what I'll do is I'll take this and do this a bunch of times, and then I'll take a rubber band and try to wrap around all of this to try to keep it together. And then I would just throw that like in my toolbox or whatever. But that's pretty unique as well. This thing rotates. It actually rotates all the way around a full 360 degrees, which obviously if the light's back like this, you wouldn't need that for anything, but it does rotate all the way around. It does have type C battery, and the battery pack is actually already in it, and I'll show that to you here in a bit. But it can also use AAA batteries, which is another really unique feature that I think you guys are going to like about this. They're kind of hard to see right now. They'll show up better once we turn it on. There's actually 4 LEDs over here that show like your battery percentage. So, if you're up here, you're somewhere probably between 75 and 100%. If you're down here, you're probably somewhere 25% or below. I'm going to show you some of the specifications. We won't go over all of it, but our main light, so the big light right there, has a max output of 1,000 lumens. A couple other modes. We have a strobe and an SOS there. We also have an auxiliary white light, which is right there, that one. And that one has a max of 60 lumens, a low of 15. We also have a red light, which is going to be beside of that, labeled R with a little red dot. And we got 30 lumens and 10 lumens, and then the run times for those. that'll be interesting to see. And I'm sure that that has to step down. There's no way it lasts 1,000 lumens for 85 minutes. So it probably steps down after a minute or two, and then it probably steps down again. It probably steps down to like 450. So there's our max beam distance, 126 meters. We got 4,000 candela. It's 1 meter drop tested. Working voltage is 2.5 to 4.2. Here's some of our measurements: 2.37 inches in length. The width is 1.66 and height is 1.12. Our weight is 2.29 ounces with that battery pack included. So let's take a look at this head strap before we get into the light. They actually have a patent on this, and this is the first time me trying this. Apparently what you do is you push in on this little button and then you pull, and you can pull it to whatever length that you want. And then let's say you put it on your head and it's too loose. You basically turn this and it tightens the strap back up. So let's see, yeah, you see that? How it's bringing it back through there? So this is very clever. And obviously you can store it like this then too. So I thought you had to push down or something, but you really don't. You just hold on to it. You just kind of squeeze and pull it out to whatever length you want. This is really cool. So, you know, you'll be wearing it like this. Obviously this headband has, like, you can see the perforations in it. That reduces like sweating and stuff like that. I don't feel a whole lot of grippy. Some headbands will have like a line of like the sticky, tacky type stuff. This feels like really good material though. So besides having this really cool head strap, you can also remove the light from the head strap if you want. You just basically squeeze that and it just pops right out of there. And this would be real useful if you just wanted to set this down as a night light, or if you had a power outage and you just set this on the table to illuminate a room and have it bounce off the ceiling. So let's just see if the battery is charged in it. All right, it should be powered on now. I did that where I hit both buttons like that little sticker told us to do. So let's just press this, see what we get. All right, so this is the main light, and we can see all 4 of those LEDs, and they're all green. When it gets low down to that 25%, that one does change to a red color. So it's just a simple push to turn on to turn off. The buttons are like a rubberized texture. It's a little bit stiff though. Like, it turns on and off fine, but it feels a little stiff. Maybe that'll loosen up with some time here. But so I'm not sure exactly what mode we're on here, but to change through the outputs, we're going to basically hold down on this. Oh yeah, that got way bright. So I was on like the low setting. So we have the low here. You can see there is a hot spot on my hand. Let's look at it on the table. So we can see the hot spot there, but I can tell that light goes pretty far. So it's a nice dispersed edge to it. And we'll look at this. You can see it right there. See the edge? So you got a hot spot and then a nice edge. And we'll look at that later. And that low setting was what, 10 lumens? So we'll press it. We'll go up to the next brightest level there. That's 105. That starts getting really bright. That's 450. And then that is the 1,000. So from off, you can go kind of straight into the turbo just by double clicking. And as you can see, that's very, very bright. Let's say you're in the low mode of 10 lumens and you want to go to turbo. You can double click, get your turbo, and then you can double click again if you're done with it, and it'll take you back to where you were before. So we go back to that low setting now. Also has strobe and SOS, and you triple click to get to that. So here's a strobe warning. And from here, we triple click again to get the SOS. That could obviously be very helpful if you were like hiking, got lost, or got injured or anything like that. So nice that it has it. And our other button up on top, you can see it has a W and an R on it for the white and for the red. And those are our auxiliary lights. So one press basically turns it on just like this other one did. If you long press, it's going to take you through your different brightnesses on it. If you want to switch to the red, the manual says just double tap this, but if you double tap, it actually doesn't work. It just turns that on. So you have to have that on, then you double tap. So what you can do is just hit it once, your light's on, then once it's on, you double tap and it switches between them. And it's the same thing once you're back on the red. You can go through various brightnesses by just long holding or long pressing. A triple click of this button gets you flashing red, and you can do that from off or on, doesn't matter. So see, we have a flashing red now. They call that their signaling. And what's kind of unique about that is let me show you with the white. I can have the white on, and if I still triple click, it switches back to the red flashing. So you can be on and triple click and get red flashing, or you can be off and triple click and get red flashing. So with the auxiliary lights, you cannot have both of those on at the same time. Basically, you have to choose if you want red or white. However, you can have them on at the same time as the main light. So I could have both whites on. As you can see, that is very, very bright. Or I could switch this one and have it be part red, part white. But you cannot have flashing at the same time either, even though they're both on right now. So you can see the flashing red, and when I go to do the flashing here, it'll shut that one off. And the only other thing is the lockout, which I kind of showed earlier, but you just press both buttons until you see like a flash, and it flashes twice, and now we're locked out. So if I try to hit it, none of the buttons will work. That's useful if you're going to be storing it for a long time or putting it in a bag or something like that, like a get home bag or a car bag or something. And that way, if something would potentially hit it, it doesn't come on. And then you just reverse it to get back out of it. Press hold, you'll see the two flashes. And now we're unlocked. All right, let me show you this other feature on this that I think is really, really cool. This is the battery compartment here. You basically lift that little door up, you open this up, and this is your battery. It's got a specific name, and I think you can probably get replacements on these. It's called the BR1200, but you can actually remove this battery. There's the name right there, yeah, BR1200. It shows that we're a 1200 milliamp hour. So let's say that battery pack died on you and you just don't have the time to, let it charge, and you still need to use your headlamp. You can just take regular AAA batteries, put in here, and they claim that it will work just fine with AAAs. So I got the batteries in. Let's see. And we're on. Let's go through all the outputs. See if the red and whites work. Everything seems to work fine with AAAs. So I honestly don't know if Brinyte is selling these battery packs or if they will. I don't know. But I know that you can buy rechargeable AAAs, which is probably what I'd recommend instead of running alkalins, because alkalins definitely can leak in that. And to put that battery back in, you can see the positive up there and negative down there. And to charge it, we're just going to take that USB-C cable, plug it in there, and then the other end in any USB source. All right, guys, going to try to show you some of the outputs here with this Brinyte headlamp. I'm going to do the main light first, and it's kind of the spotlight, and that is on its lowest setting. So we're going to go up through them here. Keep in mind, I am recording on an iPhone, which always kind of adjusts for the light, so it is much brighter in person. Go up again. You can see that is a huge bump up. So if you were like walking on a trail or anything like that, this is really going to illuminate your way. I think there's still one more. Yeah, that's super bright. All right, I'm going to shut that one off. And this is more of the floodlight. So that is the low, and that's the high. Let's switch over to the red. There's low on red and high on red. So just imagine needing to do some work around your house, maybe on an outlet. And that is the smaller lamp right there. That's not even the main headlamp. That's again more of like the diffused light. And then I could put the other one on right with it. That's almost too bright, obviously. But you can just see how much light it puts right on what you're trying to look at. So imagine needing to change a flat tire in the dark. It's kind of useful to have both hands to be able to do that. You can use this headlamp to illuminate your area pretty easily. Or if you're needing to do some engine repairs, so clearly that lights things up pretty well. Headlamps are even useful during the daytime to be able to like direct light, you know, exactly where you need it on something. So, and hopefully this will give you an idea of kind of what the spotlight looks like. Kind of out here. You can see it throws the light pretty well, actually. All right, so I've had this Brinyte HC01 Noctua for several weeks now, have used it pretty much daily, and want to give you guys some of my thoughts. So I'm going to start with a few things that were negatives for me. The first thing, and most headlamps are this way actually, but is this frame that goes around this. It's a little bit wider and a little bit more pronounced than some others. And so when this is up against your forehead, and let's just say it's there, you're wearing it for a half an hour, and then when you take the headlamp off, there is a rectangle on your forehead for the next half an hour. Some other headlamps that I have use something like this, to where there's nothing that like digs into you. And in my opinion, this is way more comfortable than something that's like this. This thing just kind of buries itself into your forehead. And I understand they have to have something rigid because that's what this is connected to here in order for the headlamp to be in it. But I would like to see them somehow figure out a way to like integrate some type of cover or piece of rubber or something over top of that, because that does get uncomfortable over time. All right, next thing I want to mention, I think that this is absolutely ingenious, and I do really like this system here. It is some type of ratcheting system. Like you can feel it click like every like quarter turn or whatever that is there. I've had this at least 2 or 3 different times over the last few weeks where I will have this on my head and I'm using the light, and then I must have not, like when I pulled it out, it must have not like locked all the way in. And so while I'm wearing it, it'll go one more like that. And then it becomes like loose on you. It's not a huge deal. I just reach behind and then tighten it up a little bit. But you can see even right there, when I just tightened that, it was super easy to pull that right back out like that. Once it seems like it gets in place, then it seems like it locks a whole lot better. But just kind of keep that in mind that it can potentially move on you. Next little thing I wanted to mention kind of has to do with the head strap as well. So when you have it on, granted now this is pressed up against your forehead, But I mentioned earlier in the video that a lot of other head straps have like this little like rubber grippy texture type thing in here. And that helps cling it, to your head better, but it also kind of helps prevent the actual headlamp from moving. So while this is on you, this has the potential to move just with the slightest little hit here. And so you might think, well, I'm not getting hit by anything, but I can see a scenario where I might be using this. We have a full basement, but we also have a crawl space on an addition. And there's obviously floor joists and duct work and stuff like that under there. And you have to kind of like military crawl, and there's very little space in there. And I could see this getting bumped, and then all of a sudden the light is not pointing to where you need it to go. And it's hard to even get your hands up to your face when you're down there, or if you were maybe doing like cave exploration or something like that. But just kind of keep that in mind. That thing does kind of move easily. And my last kind of complaint is I've had a hard time keeping that charging port cover actually closed and in there. If you go back toward the beginning of the video when I did an unboxing, it was actually already open when I pulled it out. And then when I was going over a lot of the features and stuff like that, I kept trying to put the thing in and it would pop back out. All right, let's talk about some of the positives. First thing I'll say is that it's very lightweight. If it didn't have this thing here digging into your forehead, I think it's light enough that you could seriously wear this all day long and be very comfortable with it. If you had a baseball hat on and put this on, you could wear it all day. If you had a hard hat, put it on, wear it all day. The thing really doesn't really weigh much of anything. I think that the output is really, really good. I like having the 4 different levels of output, having different beams where you have a spotlight and a flood or a wide beam light. I think that's very clever on this. I like that it has that rechargeable battery pack, which should last for years and years and years. But you can also use AAA batteries in it should something happen to that pack. I like that it has a lockout feature. Most headlamps do not have that. I actually like that this thing has more angles than most headlamps. Most headlamps, you can turn it and maybe go down to like this angle. And again, I use headlamps all the time. And there's so many times that even from here, when I tilt my head down, that it still doesn't give me the right angle that I really need the light to be at. And whereas this one here, you can just completely go to any angle that you want. Like I said, it does a full 360. So I think that's very clever. But my overall opinion on this HC01 is that it's absolutely fantastic, and I definitely would recommend it. You can use headlamps for, so many different things. Camping, hiking, riding your bike, it gives you an extra light on that. And then whenever you turn your head, the light turns wherever your head's going. Working on cars, working on projects around your house, walking your dog. I even use these like when I'm looking in like cabinets or cupboards or closets that don't have lights. There really are so many uses for headlamps. So at the time of me recording this video, these are coming in just over $27 with a little clickable coupon. So somewhere around $27. And I 100% believe that they are worth that. Giving you that battery pack and the option of using AAAs and the outputs and all the things I've talked about, definitely would recommend this one. And I will leave that Amazon link down in the video description if you guys want to find out more information about it or pick one up. So if you found this video helpful or informative in any way, please give me a thumbs up, consider subscribing. And that's going to be it on this one. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it.